the one thing we're hearing up here in New York more and more is, of course, the Trevor Lawrence conversation. We played the clip yesterday. The New York media's in Dabo Swinney's press conferences down there in Clemson now. And I just feel like with Trevor Lawrence being like somewhat of a football god in the world right now, if the Giants had the number 1 pick, I don't know what they'd do. I think it's very dicey at this point. Can you pass up Trevor Lawrence? What do you think?
Well, I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people think you can. I understand it.
What if it comes down to the Jets or the Giants,
right?
Week 17, for the number 1 pick in the draft? Look, you said it yourself, the competition for the first overall pick this year. Now, the NFL doesn't want anyone to think there is a competition. I think that's one of the reasons why there isn't a draft lottery, which would be a huge event with millions of dollars earned for the NFL and millions of eyeballs tuning in to see who gets the first overall pick. They don't want to give any credence to the idea that teams would be tempted to not try to win. But when you have 10 teams right now with 1 win or fewer, and barring a tie, that will change tonight. It will drop to 9 at least for now, because a lot of these bottom feeders are playing each other, starting with the Giants and the Eagles. When you have that many teams that are already circling the drain, you have to start thinking about, and this is an ownership front office type thing, we want to evaluate the younger players. We want to see what the backup quarterback can do.
Right.
We want to see what the third string corner can do to Julio Jones. Right? That's how it happens. And I think some of these teams are going to be very tempted to do it. And if you're the Giants and you've got the Jets in your own stadium and they're positioning themselves, whether they want to or not, for Trevor Lawrence, how do you not become tempted to say, we're going to put guys on the field to evaluate them and just hope nature takes its course, and we end up with the first overall pick in the draft?
I know. You're right. It's where it's really tricky. And it's tricky when you speak specifically, and I know we didn't mean to make this right-hand turn about this conversation, but it is the Giants still. I mean,
they told us we have time, so we're good.
But what is really tricky about the situation, and as we both know, if you got the number 1 pick, Jets or Giants, or if they're 1-2, whatever, yeah, it's Trevor Lawrence. You're right. You're rolling the dice if you pass him up. But the other issue that both teams have is they have so many issues on their roster, like to where you want to go. There's the other football side of me goes, you can win with Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. You can do it. You just got to build a team around it. They're not Patrick Mahomes or Rodgers and just going to carry the team and do stuff like that. No, but they're really good football players. And that's, to me, going to be the other part of that conversation is, what team wants to go, okay, we got the quarterback, or what team's going to go, okay, our quarterback will deal with it. We have so many issues on our team. We got to figure out the rest of the issues, not the quarterback.
God, if it just comes down to those two teams, it's fascinating to me. And what about this? What if Trevor Lawrence says, Jets or Giants, no thank you, I'll just stay at Clemson 1 more year?
Well, I mean, he could. I wouldn't do that if I was him. I would never roll the dice like that, as you know. I mean, yeah, I know he's the man, but, one defensive lineman tripping over his feet or falling into your knee, and you might not be the number 1 pick. And the other thing I would say is, hey, coming up here and playing football in New York, it doesn't look special right now, but it is still pretty damn special to be a player. This city loves football. They love their Jets and their Giants. I think that would be hard to turn down.
And here's the other thing he can do as well, even though players don't do it nearly as often as they should. He could do a power play. He could do an Eli Manning, John Elway style power play and make it clear that he does not want to play for a team that has no offensive line or a team that is just mired in dysfunction. He wants to play for this team, whatever, and he's going to engineer it that way. I fully support that, because situations like this underscore my belief that the draft is unfair to these athletes who should be able to pick where they want to go, with appropriate protections put in place, salary cap mechanisms, et cetera, to keep teams from stacking their roster with a bunch of great young players. And really, who are you going to convince to come sit on the bench?
Yeah.
Right? He's not going to go play for the Chiefs and be the backup to Patrick Mahomes. He wants to go somewhere where he can play, and he wants to go somewhere where he thinks he can play well. And to get drafted by the worst team, I know that's the way it works, but it doesn't have to be that way, because we've seen guys push back in the past.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.